Hey everybody, welcome back. These people are getting the job done
by any means necessary.
This is how I'm matching people's energy from now on.
Yeah, what do you want?
What I want is to deliver a package if you want it.
Who's it for?
Ian. Never mind, you can pick it up.
Hey, hey.
Period. She has had it.
Hey.
Honestly, like, I'm all for it, you know? Like, why didn't you just go get it? Huh?
Why you gotta be dilly-dallying? She ain't got no time for that.
She does not have the time today, okay? She doesn't.
Right, asking too many questions. You see FedEx, you see her with a box, why even say anything? Like, why are you even asking? What do you think she's there for? To talk about her Lord and Savior? No, she just wants to give you her package and be on her way. I'm passing this math test by any means necessary.
Oh, yeah? Did that work for you? You know, the ironic thing is that if you just like studied, that's all that you needed to cheat. Just like those few little things. If you just studied a little bit more, wrote it down like 5 or 6 more times, you probably wouldn't need to cheat. And the other thing too is like, wouldn't that pen kind of like, you know, this condensation from your breath, wouldn't that make it kind of wet and then it would go on your face and then you'd get caught cheating?
But how would you read the formulas when the mask is on your face?
I'm assuming you would pull it down. Is that how we do that?
You should put that mask over your eyes so you can always see it.
I think that might raise suspicions.
All fun and games so your breath makes the ink moist and smears on your face. This is what I'm saying. I'm glad we are like on the same wavelength. Random internet commenter. My brother is the definition of going to get my pictures right by any means necessary.
I gotta see this.
Yes, climb, babe. Get that angle. Honestly, we should all be doing this. Like, I am sick and tired of taking really, really good pictures of everybody else. Getting down on the floor, getting your angles, knowing my friends' angles. And for y'all to just be like, Like, I look at them and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, you take one of them? One? No. Let's all get to the point where we are good enough at taking pictures of other people, okay? I'm sick of this shit. I want commitment! I want to see you on your knees for those angles!
This is why I like never take photos of myself or post photos of myself, because nobody can take a freaking decent picture of me.
They don't care, and it's low-key, it hurts my feelings, I'm not gonna lie. Like, why do I have to hire a photographer in order to have a decent picture of myself? Meanwhile, I'm over here just like climbing on shit, like all the way down here, and like we'll go all the way like that. Depressing. I just want equal friendships and friends who can take a picture, damn it.
Child is missing. A little girl with an orange shirt. If you haven't realized that your child is missing, I don't know what to tell you. So you mean to tell me you didn't know that your child was missing? Don't even look at her like that.
Okay, as someone that used to run off as a kid a lot, let's not blame the moms.
When they learn how to walk, they do be running around a little bit too much, eh? But I think the criticism comes from the confusion. She forgot she was a mom for a second.
She's like, oh, everything is so tranquil and peaceful. What's wrong with this picture? Oh, I had a child.
This is why I pay for Amazon Prime.
I ain't got bro. Why you forcing me? You took that bro.
Oh yes, is this like an extra thing? Like, do we pay for package protection? Will Amazon Prime employees chase the package thieves? Because that's worth it, in my opinion. The fact that he's jumping fences after this man, that's some 5-star service right there. I'm telling you. I hope he gets paid well. He probably doesn't. Most people would just be in that situation and be like, no. This man is a superhero. Protect him at all costs.
You joking me?
Wow. That's impressive.
Whatever it takes, dude.
Whatever it takes, babe.
It's necessary. I love that. I love that so much. This is how you DIY, my friends.
DIY not.
That's one way to go about it. And guess what? I bet it got the job done, didn't it? Teeter had to show him how to get those crawfish.
Teeter.
I'm assuming that's read in like a Texan, Southern United States accent. I don't know why. Like, come on. You cannot look at that name and tell me that it's not said in a Southern United States accent. Teeter. Period. Pick up those crawfish. Pick them up. Get your hands dirty. Oh, come on. Yeah, girl. Pick them up. What's he afraid of? Who run the world? Girls. Teeter. Teeter. Hi. My neighbor is so lazy. Lazy or ingenious? I'm sorry, that's not lazy to me. That's just smart. I like how we're not buying one of those like lawnmowers that you drive. We're just attaching it to the van and driving it around with the van. I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed. Work smarter, not harder. That's my motto for life, honeys. It's how I roll. Wife calls 10 minutes before. Gary, you better have that damn lawn mowed. Good work, Gary. By any means necessary. When random guy's trying to dance with me at the party.
Okay, sis. Get it.
I think that's a no, buddy. I think that's her way of saying don't touch me. It's my favorite thing to do. When some guy is just coming up to you, it's unwanted attention, just act like a psycho. He won't like you then, trust me. Us doing the absolute most for pictures on a yacht trip. This is what I like to see. Good. Oh, they're all watching you take your thirst traps. At least your dad isn't taking the thirst trap. He's just watching the thirst trap take place. I really admire the commitment, ladies. You're in there with the pool noodles. This young gal is in there just free-handing it.
You know?
Risking her phone safety for that thirst trap. When you hired a content creator for your vow renewal and she literally goes the extra mile to get every moment. Hang on. Is this what people are doing now? Do I need to hire friends? Because I will. I'll pay them. And it's over. And you're driving me high. And it's time to come down. That's what's up. Yes. And it's fun too. Like, don't we like taking pictures? It's a fun hobby if you can get good at it. Take notes, friends. I'm talking to you, wolf pack. Him, you better not be entertaining no dudes on your girls' trip. Me. Okay, but come on. How are you supposed to say no to that? Look at that. It's safe to say that she is entertaining boys on the girls' trip. Or they're entertaining her. I'm entertained by him entertaining her. Hey, if that bothers you, you need to step up your game. I'm just saying. Hee hee, hee hee. Oh, I'm sorry. What are these little like hoverboards with the one-wheelers? Like, why are they everywhere right now? And why are they synonymous with this video topic? My dad asked me how I got the table up the stairs. I told him not to ask questions he doesn't want the answer to. Oh, period. Yes. Good for you, babe. You know, as someone who was a single lady for a little while, you can't be waiting for no dudes to do the things around the house for you. You gotta figure it out.
By any means necessary.
Don't be waiting for no men to open those pickle jars for you, ladies.
I need you to do something for me, okay? I'm about to go fight somebody, and they have a daughter, and I need you to get dressed and go fight the daughter.
I am dressed.
You ready to go fight?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is happening?
Yeah. I like how she didn't hesitate like at all. She's like,
Yeah, who are we fighting? Who are we fighting?
let's go. It doesn't matter. I got you, daddy.
Ready to scrap. She understood that assignment. She certainly did.
Come do my hair with me in the car, because Tom is not on my side, and we got to do what we got to do. Look at my sis bleaching. You probably wondering why it's on the floor, because listen, mama did not want it on her car, and the floor is fine, because listen, if I was home, it would have been on the floor anyways. I really don't care. It really don't matter to me, for real. This is my 2 water bottles to wash out my bleach. I done found me a store on Flatbush to wash my wig out at. Look at that. I ain't think about the blow drying part, so here I am, doing it manually.
Flinging it.
Flashing the wig. Between my flashing and the breeze that's blowing, it's gonna dry. Here I am applying my glue. Apply. Watch my mother. Look at her nosy looking.
The commitment.
I have no foam, so I just use my fingernails to press in the lace. You know, to melt it a little.
The things women do to look snatched.
And the people that see I'm trying to do something every minute, they looking at me, showing me something. Talking about, look. Like, boy, you see what I'm doing. Leave me alone, look. He about to talk to me again. Watch.
Look, mommy.
Yeah, I'm done. Like, in the car, where? Like, you can't tell me I got it done in the car. You know, I have to put up in a bun because I have no flying, no nothing to press it up. So,
I'm sorry. Can we just give a round of applause for this mama?
She got that job done by any means necessary. This is good.
I think my wife is planning on ruining her little sister's wedding. I need advice. This story was posted in the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. Don't you forget it. That mind. Hi, this isn't something I do, but a friend said this might help with getting advice. My wife's younger sister, who she has a lot of drama with, is getting married. And recently, my wife has been acting really secretive about things, like her phone, and going out with her friends a lot.
Suspicious.
Also, she'd normally want to show me what she plans on wearing to big events like this, but with her sister's wedding, she just says she wants it to be a surprise. Okay. I want to trust her, but with some of the context, it has me worried, so I'd like some advice on how best I talk about this with her. Now, my wife has always said her parents play favorites. I don't think that's true, but it's how she thinks. And when it comes to her youngest sister, she has played a few pranks in the past, so I'm worried she will do something she can't take back. For context, my father-in-law is a bit of a self-made man. He has a good amount of money now, but that wasn't always the case. There was a time, in fact, when money was tight, which was when my wife was a little kid.
I'm sorry. Are we poor?
From the stories I've heard, for the first 10 plus years of my wife's childhood, money was tight. However, around that, my father-in-law's business took off in a big way. So suddenly he had money, and as a result, he wanted to give his younger kids the stuff he hadn't been able to give my wife. Okay. To be clear, since having money, he's always tried to give my wife stuff as well. But the contrasting childhood has always been something that's been hard for my wife. It's not his fault that he couldn't afford to give your wife anything when she was young. Plus, it doesn't help that thanks to another bump in the business after my wife was already in college, my father-in-law was able to help the younger kids out a lot more than he had my wife. Me and her were already dating by that time, so I can tell you, my father-in-law did a lot to make it up to her, like paying her student loans off. Did the same for me as well, by the way. Also, when we got married, he gave us a house as a wedding present, so my perspective is he's a very generous man. Hate to say it, but your wife sounds kinda like a little sus.
This is odd.
I fail to see how she has a problem with her dad.
He's doing his best, you know?
My wife has difficulty seeing all the things a man does for her, plus our son, by the way, so sometimes she can get a little jealous.
To be clear, most of the time this isn't an issue. My wife is a great mother to our son. She's very supportive of some unusual hobbies I have, and we make time to do stuff as a couple. At least that used to be the case until her sister said she was getting married. And ever since then, a lot of all that good stuff has stopped, and it feels to me like this is all we talk about.
Strange.
I don't like where this is going, honey. Honey bunny. For a bit of context, me and my wife had something of a quick wedding. My grandfather, who had always been more of a father to me, was dying, so I wanted to get married quickly. As a result, the wedding was kind of a small event. Personally, I enjoyed the day. However, my wife's sister had a long engagement and her husband-to-be comes from a big family. So the whole winter wedding is shaping up to be a big event, which in turn is creating some comparison to our wedding.
Lawsuit has begun.
Brother. It never fails, honestly. Like, as exciting as weddings are, and, you know, they're such a big deal, people place, like, a lot of importance on them, and people also compare. There's always a little bit of a silent competition, you know? Which is unfortunate, but it's a fact of life. People compare.
Say la vie.
I expected this might lead to a few arguments with my wife, but recently it feels like all she does is compare our wedding to what her sister is planning and talking about how unfair it is. I don't love that. I don't love that at all. I mean, didn't she also like get a house as a wedding present? I don't love this. She's even compared me to her sister's soon-to-be husband a few times, which is a bit hurtful. Oh no. Especially considering the man has gotten really distant with me over the last year, and I actually would have said we were friends before. We stopped doing a lot of stuff together. We used to make time for date nights or family days, but now she's always ending up spending more time at work or going out for fun days with her girlfriends. This last part is why I'm starting to get worried. I have nothing against my wife's friends, but they can encourage her worst self sometimes. Plus, there's the fact she's already started being very cagey with her phone. Also, I should mention I talked to one of them yesterday and they lied and said they hadn't seen her recently, which is really starting to worry me. And again, I say she keeps telling me her dress for the wedding is a complete surprise. Now, this could be all in my head, but I'm really worried she's planning to wear white or something like that. Our son is going to be the ring bearer, so I don't want him seeing his mom do something like that. At the same time, I don't want to accuse my wife of something if this is really all in my head. So could people on here please tell me how I best talk to my wife about all these concerns I have? My guess is she is spending a lot of time with her friends because maybe she's finding solace in being able to like complain to them.
I don't complain.
Maybe they're yes men. Maybe they're kind of like excusing the behavior. I wish I could say that this isn't a common thing. It's not common to like plan to wear something awful as like revenge for not being the favorite child. That's not common. What is common is weddings bringing the worst out in people, especially women.
Sorry, ladies.
Especially women. Like I've seen it happen on both sides, but like women really, really do compare. You know, whether the wedding was more expensive than theirs, whether the bride looked more beautiful than she did on her wedding, whether she has a partner and her friend is getting married. And not having a partner makes her feel much more alone. And, you know, this is, I think, why we see so much wedding drama is because they really do. Weddings really do. As joyous of an occasion that they are, they really do bring the worst out in people. I'm curious to know if you have sat her down. Like, I know she's being kind of cagey about her wedding dress, but maybe there's a way that you could be like, hey, so like, I'd love to know what you're wearing so that I could get like a similar color, like scarf for my, what's this little, like the little thing here, the pocket square, or a tie so that you guys could match. Like, see if you can like fish to find out like what color at the very least she's wearing so that, you know, you can match her or something. And then if she, you know, declines to tell you, a couple things could happen. She could tell you and then it turns out to be a color and it's not a white dress. So you could feel a little relieved. Or she could still be cagey, at which point you could just kind of be like,
Why are you not telling me the color of your dress? Like you're not planning on doing something silly, are you?
I think that we could try and get a little bit more info before we assume, right? Like, I don't think you're wrong. but let's try and get like a little more info. Let's move in the shadows and find out a little more info. I'm sure we have some petty ideas in the comments. Let's see. If you two are traveling together to the wedding in the same car, when she shows you what she's wearing, if it's inappropriate, just refuse to go. Your wife needs some serious therapy. What you're describing is incredibly immature, petty, and vindictive. I have to tell you, I would have a hard time thinking my wife could be that potentially awful and still being her partner, at least without therapy. The bigger problem here is that you think your wife is capable of doing this, and that's not based on nothing. You have some experiences. I can't even imagine being with somebody that jealous and vindictive. Yeah, unfortunately, it really is women. I'm all for being a girl's girl here, but unfortunately, women get jealous. People get jealous, but especially surrounding weddings, women get jealous. So I think it would be beneficial to find out exactly why, the next time she kind of says something a little bit sus, let's like get to the bottom of it. Get to the bottom of like how she feels. It's not good how she feels.
Talk it over.
I can always sense when, friends feel this way. It makes me like pull back a little bit because nobody wants a friend or family member that is secretly like jealous. Unfortunately, it is a very human thing to be jealous. We just need to be like making sure that we handle our emotions correctly. It's not her sister's fault that she has a lovely wedding. I highly doubt that she's doing all of that to spite her sister.
Trauma.
But yes, I do think that we need to talk with the wife. I honestly also fail to see why she thinks that she's not the favorite child. Like in situations where parents kind of like come into a little bit of money, I feel like a lot of the time there's always this like need to make everything fair. Based on what you've described, it does seem like her dad did a lot to make up for the fact that he wasn't able to afford this big extravagant childhood.
That's fair.
He paid off your student loans. He paid off her student loans. He bought her a house. Those are not small things. He really did set you guys up for success. Yeah, I mean, I really fail to understand where these feelings are coming from. If they are related to money, these feelings, I think she's a little delulu.
Delusional? I'm not delusional.
So we do have an update. Got a couple of updates. Right out the gate, I want to make it clear my marriage is now over. Oh my. And I'm looking to get divorced. Okay. As many of you suggested, my wife has been having an affair with her sister's soon-to-be husband. Whoa. Whoa, okay, that kind of came out of nowhere. It's been going on for a while, apparently, so I feel like a complete idiot right now. I mean, listen, I don't want to be this, like, bitter person that automatically assumes that people are, like, having an affair. But like, it is interesting and it does make sense that your wife is incredibly competitive with her sister, and that led to her having an affair with her sister's husband. That kind of competitiveness really runs deep, so much so to the point where they want everything that someone else has, including their partner. You're not an idiot. I definitely did not see that coming either, but like, am I surprised? Like, not really. I'm sure you want to know what happened, so I'll start from the beginning.
Yes, please.
After I made my first post, I thought the people saying affair just didn't understand what I was saying, so I was focused on the advice that was offered. The day after that, I sat my wife down and tried to talk about it using the suggestions people made. To begin with, I talked about how I felt we were losing each other and that maybe we should try marriage counseling. Also, I suggested we could start planning for a big vow renewal when we hit our 10-year anniversary. That's also a very good idea to make her feel like, you know, she didn't have, you know, the big wedding. Maybe we could like do something special.
Genius.
When it came to the dress, like some suggested, I asked about the color, saying I wanted us to match. Ooh, okay. Great minds. Honestly, I thought that would have worked, but it didn't. The only result was I got shouted at. She said things like vow renewals were stupid and marriage counseling is a con. Plus, when it came to the dress, there was actual screaming about it being a surprise. Okay. On the dress point, by the way, the story always was that it's at a friend's house. So I or our son didn't go peeking to try and find it.
Oh, that seems rather extreme.
Needless to say, after that, I started to get worried. But embarrassingly, in spite of what you were all telling me, I still didn't think affair. I thought it was going to be some petty dress stunt. After that, I wasn't going to try talking to her again about it, so I went to the maid of honor and my mother-in-law. I told them what I was worried about, so they agreed to help.
Go team.
Mother-in-law promised me she would talk to my wife to see if she could get an idea of what was going on, while the maid of honor agreed to go dress shopping with me. The idea there being I could get my wife a wedding-appropriate dress as a gift for the fight we seemed to be having, and then make sure the dress was available when the wedding came around in case my wife did do something. Wow. I'm impressed with all of these pool-safe options, but I find it a little nuts that you have to go and do all of this stuff. Why can't people just have some social decorum, you know?
Behave.
Dress shopping with maid of honor was actually fun, to be honest. She's a single mom and her daughter is only 2 years younger than my son. So we've connected because of that in the past. In a way, the maid of honor is kind of a friend I don't see a lot, which is why me and her talked a lot while dress shopping. Me posting on Reddit became a subject of conversation, so I showed her what people were saying. So that's how she found out about the idea my wife was having an affair.
Here goes.
Afterwards, I thought everything was going to be fine with my plan for the dress, but unlike me, the maid of honor wasn't being an idiot and did pay attention. You see, the maid of honor's dad is actually a big-time divorce lawyer. So apparently after we talked, she talked to him, and he talked to people he knew. And a few days after me and maid of honor had gone dress shopping, her dad and her contacted me. Not only did they show proof of my wife's affair, but they also explained how my wife was planning to divorce, having apparently already started talking to a lawyer of her own. Oh my.
Mind blown.
Ooh, this escalated very quickly. I am very rarely speechless. How did we get here? I don't know exactly what my wife's plan was going to be if I hadn't found out, but needless to say, things pretty much blew up after that because maid of honor told my sister-in-law after she told me, and I'm told there was apparently a lot of screaming. I'd like to say I confronted my wife about everything, but honestly, I still have yet to see her since maid of honor told me.
Holy crap.
That day, I packed me and my son up and got out of the house, and ever since then, me and him have been staying with maid of honor in an effort to avoid the carnages. So far, it seems no one on the bride's side knew, but apparently a few on the groom's side did. So there's been all kinds of drama about that. Plus, apparently my father-in-law has said he's cutting my soon-to-be ex off from the money she's always complained about. So again, drama.
Drama, drama, drama.
Worth pointing out here that she has called me to shout about ruining things for her somehow, but hasn't once asked about where her son is. Oh, Lord. Jesus, I don't even know what to say at this point. I've been rendered speechless, guys. This is great.
Be speechless.
On that point, I would say him and the maid of honor daughter get along great. So he has someone to play with here at the very least. Plus, she really is a dear and is quite clearly trying to distract him, as I think the maid of honor is trying to do as well. I mean, I don't mind this idea of you and the maid of honor. I'll just say that. I should also say here that her dad is helping me with the divorce. We had a prenup with an infidelity clause, so things should be okay, but he tells me these things can be dragged out. I don't really know what's gonna happen, but it's a safe bet that my soon-to-be ex-wife's idea of petty revenge for some crazy reason has really blown up everything. Thank you again for the advice people gave me. Even if I was the idiot who didn't listen to see it myself, I do appreciate it. Okay, but to be fair, I am also flabbergasted that this has happened. I'm so sorry that this has happened to you, hun. Straight up, this is nuts. It's one thing to be a little bit spiteful and jealous. Jealousy is a normal human emotion, okay? It really, really is. But it's clear that all of the signs and all the things you were worried about, were proof of a much larger problem. So an interesting thing to note, as much as I do like you and mother-in-law hanging out, this comment is very important. Do yourself a favor, get your own place and stop staying with maid of honor. Oh, sorry, did I say mother-in-law? Your ex will start saying you were actually cheating with maid of honor the whole time, and it will seem believable because you're living with her. And honestly, living with a kind, helpful woman when you're down could lead to accidents. Focus on your kids and your hobbies for a while. Don't immediately start dating. That's very good advice, and we do have one more update. Hi, I had my first therapist appointment today, and they thought updating here might be helpful for me, so here I am. Oh my goodness, even the therapists are telling people to come to my subreddit. I love it. To begin with, there are some things I'd like to clarify. First, maid of honor's dad, like many divorce lawyers, has private eyes he's working with. It was one of them who found proof of my soon-to-be ex-wife's affair. The man might be very eager to help me get out of my marriage due to the fact that his daughter was my sister-in-law's best friend and therefore has some skin in the game here, but he didn't break any ethical boundary. Second, I thought it would be obvious, but yes, my sister-in-law did call off the wedding. When she found out about the affair, she did call everything off. Also, I didn't mention this before, but the private investigator did find a picture of the dress my soon-to-be ex-wife was going to wear, and it was going to be red and extremely revealing. Okay, I had guessed red. Like, I wasn't guessing white solely for the fact that she was having an affair with the groom. Red makes sense. Sorry I didn't mention that last time when I made my post. I was also watching the kids, so I was a little distracted. Next, when it comes to maid of honor, I didn't mention this before because it didn't seem relevant, but she does have a boyfriend. Okay. It's a sort of new relationship. They aren't living together, but she's not single, and also he's a great guy. Quite often, maid of honor is out of the house being there for sister-in-law. He will come along and hang out with me and the kids while we build Legos or play dress up. He's even brought a friend of his along once or twice. All that being said though, I have since moved me and my son out. That was always the plan. It just took me time to find a place I could start renting. In spite of the fact that maid of honor has a boyfriend, I'm not an idiot. I knew how it looked. I just wanted out of the house quickly, and staying with her to begin with was the best option I had.
Makes sense.
On that point, I'm told my ex and her lawyer are trying to challenge the prenup. Mine says everything is in my favor though, so I'll need to wait, but it should break my way eventually. As far as my son is concerned, I'm told everything should be good there as well. I'll probably have to allow some kind of visitation, but it will be minor.
Parenting is hard.
I'll also add that my father-in-law and mother-in-law have since contacted me to talk about everything, and they say they're happy to help me manage stuff like the visitation in the future, so I don't have to see my ex. Worth pointing out here that they are proving to be really good parents. They're not refusing to talk to my ex, apparently, but they have made it clear she's cut off from any family money now. I suspect this will mean she will go no contact with them in spite of their offer to stay in contact. But that's where things stand with them.
Stand your ground.
Lastly, I feel I should mention the term my therapist mentioned when I was talking about how I met my ex. Apparently back then was what was called love bombing. When I met my ex in college, I had dated before, but she was actually my first real relationship. So when she was showering me with all this affection and wanted to spend so much time together, it really felt good. Afterward, I wanted to make her happy and try to get us as a couple back to how we had been when we started. But I'm told it was a pattern of control, and looking back now, I do see it. Well, I am glad to hear that you got out of a clearly very terrible marriage.
Divorce completed.
Yay.
It turns out that everybody was right about the vindictiveness. Yeah, I have to say, I'm kind of annoyed with myself that I didn't see it. Not that I was making excuses for the behavior, it's just like, based on what he shared, it just didn't like, maybe it's really not normal to feel that way, honestly. Like, I just know personally, like with my wedding, I did notice that there was a lot of behavior that was kind of like not fair to me. And I think a lot of that behavior came from comparison and not genuinely being happy for me.
How dare they?
I will say that although I'm not gonna like totally end friendships and relationships because of that, I have sort of taken a step back from those relationships. What was I supposed to do? Go full bridezilla? Like, obviously not. Everybody already is already hoping that I turn out to be a bridezilla because it would make me a hypocrite. Yeah, it isn't normal to feel vindictive about someone you know getting married and someone being happy. I'll just say that.
That's weird.
Someone's happiness does not negate your own self-worth. Like, I'm even reading this book on evolutionary psychology right now, and it's literally ingrained, especially in women. People get jealous. It's a normal emotion, but what I'm saying is you do have to check yourself when those jealous feelings come up and ask why.
Check yourself.
And don't take it out on the people that you're jealous of. Subscribe! This coworker drama left me speechless. Well, not entirely. I do like to talk. Am I the a-hole for stepping back and letting my trainee suffer the consequences of his actions? Background info. I, 35 female, work for the government with a large team of about 10 people. Most of what we do is customer facing. Recently, there were 2 new additions to our team that we desperately needed. Most of the team has been there for 20 plus years, and though they're very friendly, they do take their time to warm up to the newcomers. As I was one of the newest additions to the team, been there about 2 years, I was asked to help train one of the newcomers, as the teammates who've been there longer do not like taking the time to train, let others shadow, etc. I now understand why. Lol. The trainee, let's call him Raj, 32-ish male, seemed pretty eager and energetic. He loves chatting, which I do too, so we bonded quite quickly. Specifically, as we are the only 2 people in our team that are immigrants that have previously lived in multiple different countries. The issue began as I noticed Raj was very chatty, to the point where he would forget about the time, and we would end up always being a couple minutes late to our appointments. I kept reminding him of the time, but it seems like he takes appointment times as more of a suggestion. I, on the other hand, who have always struggled with timekeeping, take pride on the fact that I can usually manage to do my appointments on time, if not early. It would be interesting if they work somewhere like, you know, where you had to like make appointments for like a passport or something. And it's like, oh, that's why those places are always late. At one point, when he was meant to be shadowing me, he came back from lunch 10 minutes after the appointment time, at which time I was in the middle of seeing a customer. He asked me if he could join, and I said, no, we're in the middle of it now, maybe the next one. Afterward, he seemed very apologetic and said it wouldn't happen again, but it kept happening almost every day. The breaking point. On the day that Raj was supposed to begin doing the appointments himself, and I was meant to just sit back and watch him, I made sure to remind him that we would begin doing so after lunch. His first appointment was supposed to begin at 1:25, which I repeated twice to him, and he even said it back. At 1:20, I was back at my desk expecting him to be there, eager to do his first appointment, but he was nowhere to be found. 1:25 and nothing. At 1:27, he gets back to the office, chatting with people as he walks in, taking his time and asking me how my lunch was. I tried keeping my usual smile on, but reminded him his appointment was meant to have already begun. He laughed it off, asking,
What, are you gonna dock my pay 2 minutes or something? Don't worry.
Time is not a suggestion, my dear. Especially when it comes to other people's time. Only then did he start preparing for his appointment, which I can do in about 2 to 3 minutes, but he takes longer. So at around 1:35, he finally calls out for the customer. However, in his rush, he did not notice that there was a note on the client's account saying his appointment would be a virtual one and not an in-person one. This is the thing about not being on time. In a workplace environment, say that you're always like a little bit late. It takes time to get sorted. I like to like start my meetings and like sit down at my computer a couple of maybe like 10 minutes before the meeting starts, or longer if there's, let's say, a contract that I need to look through, like a pitch deck that I need to look through, so that when I'm on the call, I understand exactly what is going on. While he was late, he could have been preparing for his first appointment by himself. He would have known that the appointment is virtual instead of just calling out and assuming that the person was in the office. So instead of the client coming to our desk, her husband does, who coincidentally was there for his own separate appointment. They exchange a very confused conversation while I sit back and watch him try to understand what just happened. I gotta confess, even though I was pissed at him, I was holding back laughter at this point. The husband then had his name called, and he went to his appointment still looking a bit confused, while Raj turned to me and asked if he should mark the customer as not attended. I asked him if he read the note in big bold letters right at the top of her online file, to which he whipped back around to look at, and stood there for a moment with his mouth open. This is where I may have been kind of an a-hole, and indirectly said, I told you so. I told him that being on time does matter, and we should ideally be preparing for the next appointment 5 minutes before it's due to begin, so that we have plenty of time to look at any notes and not cause any confusion. This is true in like so many respects. Like, it doesn't really matter if what kind of job it is. Like, even when I was like auditioning, you would never want to show up late to an audition, otherwise you literally wouldn't be able to audition. You wanted to sit down, prepare, get into character, get locked in. There are so many instances in which showing up on time is actually showing up late. And I don't say that because I'm or whatever. It is because I've had so many jobs where showing up on time, you literally were already late because you're not ready to start. You need to be ready to start at your start time. However, he then started to get angry and nearly shout,
What do you want me to do? You want to dock my pay for 2 minutes? Dock my pay. I don't care. I was late because I was talking to my manager. So what? I'm not allowed to talk with my manager?
Sounds a little spicy. I was so shocked with his reaction that I just got up while he kept on saying,
Oh, that's how it's going to be? Is that really how it's going to be?
I got up and went straight to his manager and noped out of training him. I do firmly believe that showing up on time is a respect thing. Showing up late consistently and not caring about other people's time, it's evidence of like a wider issue about respect. When you don't respect other people's time and you don't even respect your own, because now you're showing up at work, you're flustered, you don't know what's happening, respect yourself and respect other people by showing up early, if not right on time, and honestly, make it so that people can depend on you. Manager heard what I had to say, told me they in fact had not spoken at all since earlier that morning. Oh, okay, so he lied, and asked me to put all of this in writing as Raj is still in probation and this would need to be added to his file. I do feel bad about how things went down and I hate the fact that I had to snitch on him, so I have to ask, am I the a-hole? No, first, the 2 minutes thing might not have been a big deal or whatever. It just was a sign of his lack of respect. And his reaction to you training him so that he can do his job better, because it did affect his job, was to get defensive and to get kind of like aggressive, honestly, and start getting mad at you because you're just doing your job by training him. He should be thanking you. I think Raj is quite full of himself, not the a-hole. You are not. Just imagine working every day with him. No, no, no. Being late and unprepared was bad enough, especially since he should be trying to impress you, but then outright lying? Nope. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time that he's working on his own. He better get everything right. That's under his control. Mistakes are bound to happen, but like the one thing that you can control about how people perceive you, especially at a new job, is to be on time. But yeah, the lying is like cray cray. OP responds, that was the worst part for me. When I was explaining everything to the manager, he was like, what? There was no meeting? I haven't seen him since before lunch. Someone responded, you didn't snitch on him. You gave valid feedback on his performance as his training officer. His poor time management skills, combative attitude, and poor performance are all on him. And that's on period, honey. You were training him and he's under probation. Everyone should know that when you're starting a job, it's kind of like, you got the job. This is a time period in which they can still fire you pretty easily. Be on your best behavior. So we do have an update. Thank you to everyone for your kind and hilarious words. I do have a tendency to second guess myself, and reading y'all's perspectives helps a lot. I hope one day, maybe, the Potato Queen herself reads this, even if it doesn't make it into a video. Ask and you shall receive, honey. I'm right here. Since the last incident, Raj and I have been friendly in the office, but also kept a safe distance. I have noticed him doing some odd things that I'll list before the juicy update. When speaking to a colleague, I noticed they did something different to their hair, and I made sure to tell them they looked absolutely fabulous. Raj chipped in to say something like,
oh, so I get a fresh new haircut, but colleague gets all the praise?
And laughed. Awkward. When playing foosball in the break room with 2 other colleagues who were much better than Raj and I, we kept losing our shots over and over and the guys were laughing and making fun of him, as they do with everyone. I could tell he was getting worked up, and I jokingly said that us both could definitely get some practice in later. He then said,
me? I don't need practice. Can't a guy have an off day?
Okay. Feedback is normal. It's easier to just take it in stride than to get like weird about it, you know? This wasn't even feedback. You were like joking about the fact that you also aren't very good at this, and he took that so personally. Okay, juicy update. While chatting with a colleague today, let's call him Matt, he said he had a falling out with Raj. He went on to say that he noticed Raj was doing something wrong at his appointments, which was costing both the customers and us a lot more time. I won't get into detail, so it's not obvious where we work, but basically Matt said, hey, I noticed you've been doing X, but actually in those appointments, you need to do Y, and explain why it needed to be different. Well, Raj interrupts Matt, who's the chillest person ever, by the way, and tells him he doesn't like his tone, and proceeds to throw a hissy fit saying that sounded wrong and that he will just keep doing the appointments his own way. As if my flabbers weren't already gasted, Matt also said he had a chat with our manager, who just listened, nodded along, and said, well, Raj is making my decision about his probation review that much easier, isn't he? Coming from someone who's an actor, in order for actors to do a good job, we need direction. We need a director to tell us to try things in a different way. Not necessarily because we're doing things wrong, but also just to get like a variety of different emotions, a variety of different feelings from the takes, and also to bring out the best in you. I might think that I know how something is said in a script. A director could give me feedback that could literally bring it to life. Back in the day, you would always have to say thank you after the feedback. and get into the habit of saying, oh my gosh, yeah, honestly, thank you. I honestly didn't think about it that way. Or, you know what, that's actually a great idea. Thank you. Say thank you to the feedback. Have that in your head, that it's not someone trying to pick you apart and tell you that you're doing a bad job. It's just feedback. It's advice. It's someone who's been there longer than you or might know a little better than you or sees things differently than you, telling you that maybe you should try it like this. I want you to win. This is good. I feel like we're doing good. Good lessons here. Not the a-hole. I hate being late to anything, to the point I'm always 10 to 15 minutes early. You said the appointment was supposed to be at 1:25. At 1:30, I'd be pissed and moving on with whatever else I had to do for the day. Later on, I guarantee I'd be sending a rather angry letter about having my afternoon wasted. If this dude can't be on time to his appointments, then he's in the wrong line of work. With that being said, everybody tends to get like a little testy whenever I bring up the fact that I don't like being late and that it's a respect thing. Let me just help you understand that that feedback is to help you do better in life. It's not to make you feel about being late. It's about helping you get to a better place in your life, to make the people around you feel respected, to make your working situation better. Being on time is a show of respect. Even better if you can be early. My coworker wants me to knit for free. Now I can't knit at work. We got another one from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. I love to knit, and I've always had multiple projects on the go. I knit at work on all of my breaks, and occasionally I'll make things for people if they pay for all the supplies, and I'm also interested in making what they want. I've said no to a lot, like the guy who wanted custom golf club covers, or the lady who wanted a sweater that was basically all cables and color work, lol. Basically, don't ask me to make anything that requires a lot of effort because I will hate it and never finish it. Anyway, not that long ago, a newer coworker came by and started asking questions about my knitting. She pulled up a pattern on her phone for a full-size blanket and asked if I could make it for her. I browsed the pattern and it was pretty simple. The only difficult thing about it was how long it would take. And it also required 25 balls of yarn. I figured why not, because it was pretty mindless knitting and I could do it while watching TV without much effort. I told her it would take around 6 months because it was so big and I would only be able to work on it at home, and that all she had to do was purchase the yarn of her choice and bring it to work and I'd knit it up for her. For free? That's a nice thing to do. She immediately got red-faced and was like,
wouldn't that cost a lot? And I want it by Christmas.
I was like, yeah, it would. And there's no way I could have it done by Christmas, even if I wanted to. It would definitely take me 6 months. She goes on,
well, you're always knitting. Don't you have a huge stash of yarn at home? Can't you just use that stuff?
The stash at home is immaterial. Oh, well, you already have this.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
She's just asking you to pay for the materials, and you don't even want to do that? Wow. No, I do not. I do not have a stash at home. I use it all. And I certainly do not have that many balls of yarn in the same color. I don't live in a yarn warehouse. It was so freaking awkward, and I just said, if you want me to knit the blanket, I've told you how it works on my end. I'm not paying for it, and I can't get it done in under 2 months. Wow. Very reasonable. She was flustered and said,
whatever,
and left the room, so I thought that was over. A couple of days later, my boss swings by when I'm alone in my office and mentions that coworker came to see him, and she thinks I'm being unfair to her because I knit for other people, and that I was mean to her when she asked me, what? Why is your boss getting involved? I explained what happened and he rolled his eyes and suggested I stop knitting at work if it's gonna cause problems. Oh, be for real right now. Why is this now your problem? That is so annoying. So now I've been bringing a book to read on my breaks just to avoid any drama. I think it's really stupid, but I don't want to be seen as a problem employee over someone's stupid entitled tantrum about knitting. Ugh, that's so unfortunate, and you really enjoy it too. That sucks. Your coworker and boss are a-holes. From now on, I would occasionally knit at work, but never ever knit anything for free for coworkers. That's the ticket, because it's like, well, you made one for her for free. Oh, don't you like me? No, I don't. I don't like you. I totally agree. That coworker is a cheap jerk and your boss sounds like a wimp. You did nothing wrong. I'd continue knitting. You did nothing wrong. If they feel uncomfortable about it, too bad. What you do on your break is nobody's business, unless it was like something really bad, but you're just knitting, so. OP said, yeah, my plan is to stop for a while and start up again when everything's cooled down. I really don't like work drama and I will do anything to fly under the radar. I don't like being perceived by management. I mean, I don't know. You said you have an office, just knit with the door closed. If I were you, I would take what you just posted here and send it in an email from your work email address to your home email address. I want you to have documentation in case this becomes a bigger work issue. Yeah, literally, what is he gonna do? Fire you for knitting on your break? It's probably a good idea to have a record of that. But I find it odd your boss seems to have like an issue with you knitting.
Messing with the office culture. It's gonna be a problem.
It was literally not a problem until Karen over here made it a problem. Misentitled Susan Karen. Am I the a-hole for telling my new work colleague that she has no right to control our office habit?
What habit is that?
I, 35 male, have been working in this office for 3 years. We recently hired a new girl, 25 female, and she sits diagonally in front of me so I can see her at my desk and vice versa. We're around 1 meter apart. She's been working for 3 weeks and has been trying to control our office habit based on her liking. Here are the issues that have been happening and what triggered me to do what I did. 1. I have an unhealthy eating habit and snacking a lot during work. She mentioned twice, jokingly, said how I tempted her for eating cakes and how can I stay skinny even though we eat like pigs. I offered her some and she refused, saying she's trying to lose weight. So she's food shaming you? Why is what you eat any of her business? Fine, I stopped snacking on my desk, but my other colleagues and I still have lunch at the desk when we are quite busy. Then by the end of the first week, she reported to HR to say people should not have lunch or eat at their desk because it can be unhygienic and the crumbs might fall into the keyboard and attract bugs.
You should bring up that it increases productivity.
She also mentioned how she was annoyed by me eating ice cream, cakes, bread, etc. during work hours, and it disturbs her because she's trying so hard to lose weight. So HR sent us all emails and now everyone in the office, everyone can no longer eat anything at our desk. Be for real right now. Get out of here. Seriously? On her second day, she complained that the girl that sits next to her, Jane, was using a very strong perfume, one where the scent nauseated her. Jane did wear strong perfume, but it wasn't horrible. All of us could tolerate Jane, and suddenly, because this new girl couldn't tolerate her, and Jane was the one that had to change. Kind of just seems like this person is just like also getting a little comfortable really like right off the bat. Talk about making the office environment toxic. Super controlling and weird. 3. Between our team, 6 of us collect $10 weekly to buy lottery. One of the guys in our team is Muslim and he doesn't gamble, so he never participated, but he never discouraged or criticized us. We offered this girl to join us and she criticized about how gambling is bad and say it's very unprofessional to be collecting money and to gamble in an office environment. She actually brought this to HR, arguing the harm and risk, and if we happened to win millions of dollars and did a massive exodus, it would be harmful for the company. Luckily, HR didn't do anything about it. This is like part of your like office culture too, and she's just coming in and just like nitpicking. Can people just like stop being the fun police? Like, please? Not everything has to be catered to you. Not everything has to be by your rules. Stop trying to control other people. Number 4. The Muslim guy prays twice per day in our stationery room. Unfortunately, we don't have a praying room in the office. He also has his praying mat and some other stuff in our stationery room, and it's been there since I started working. She suggested to him to move it somewhere else, as he shouldn't put personal belongings in a common area. Is she like a manager or something? Who made her the boss of you guys? She told the other girl on our team that the old mat was not pleasant to look at. Go away! Leave people alone! Okay, so on to what happened today. Our desks are laid out like an L shape, and my desk is next to a glass window. In our team, there are 7 people, excluding her, and all of us hate the sun. We always pull down the shade, especially the guys sitting on the other corner. They say if the window's open, the sun would glare on their computer screen in the afternoon and make it so they can't see their screen. This girl has been complaining about how our corner is too dark and gives bad vibes, and she needs to have the shades opened up. This is a Karen in the making. She's only 25, buddy. She mentioned how the sun will make people happier and increase productivity. Well, not if you can't see the computer screen. She's not a manager. She's literally like a newbie. Why is she throwing her weight around and like acting like she's the boss here? I couldn't stand her anymore. So I stood up from my desk and I didn't yell. Look, insert name. You have been here for less than a month, but you keep telling us what to do. We've been changing our habits to accommodate you, but you keep pushing things. You can't keep telling us what to do. I think the best thing for you is to sit where the HR people sit, because it's always bright there and you're closer with them to us anyway. She then said, I hate women, and I'm bullying her, and she's telling our manager and HR about this. Am I the a-hole here? Did I bully her? Is it acceptable for a new hire to tell older colleagues to do these things? I would say she's throwing her weight around and playing the victim and playing the woman card. No, you're just a bit who also happens to be a woman. I'm sure you'd do the same thing if some dude got hired and he was throwing his weight around like you. I don't think you're the a-hole. I actually think she's the one that's bullying you guys. I don't understand why this person is able to just have so much power. Anyways, small but not so irrelevant update. I was just talking about this with my colleague who works downstairs in storage. I don't often go there, but this new girl has to go there every day as part of her job. He told me a story. In my company, we hired a guy with Down syndrome to do some restocking. Let's call him Bob. Apparently, a couple of days ago, an older lady who works in the kitchen was wearing a Pikachu apron. When Bob saw the kitchen lady, he yelled, "Pikachu!" then ran and touched the apron. So he would have accidentally touched her chest too. According to my colleague, the older lady just laughed and didn't make much of a fuss. The new girl witnessed this and said Bob has harassed the old lady and she would report him to HR. Lol. She complained that Bob's behavior is very inappropriate and unsafe. I mean, I really think that it's kind of up to the woman in this instance to complain about something like that. If she felt uncomfortable, then that's one thing. Sounds like it was an honest mistake. I still fail to understand why this new hire, literally, she's become your office police person without the title. Update. I didn't expect this to blow up. I'm still getting so many messages. By the way, I've used AI this time to correct my grammatical mistakes. I'm not a native English speaker, and I now understand it's not appropriate to use the word girl when referring to a 25-year-old woman. I didn't realize this before. Thank you for the heads up, Reddit. I showed this post to two of my colleagues, and they encouraged me. And I also felt it was necessary to clarify a few things and be fair to respond to some of your questions and comments. She actually complained about a lot of other things that I didn't mention, mostly because I didn't think they were very interesting, and honestly, a few of them even benefited us. 1. So apparently, wearing perfume at the workplace is not allowed. Got it. I guess Jane has been lucky that no one's ever complained before. 2. Her comment about the Muslim guy's prayer mat was more about the way it was positioned in the storage room. Everything else is neatly arranged in wooden cupboards, but in one corner there's a small table with a prayer mat and some religious items. She felt it looked out of place and thought personal items shouldn't be in public or shared areas. That said, the prayer mat has been there since I started, and no one in the office has raised an issue about it for the past 3 years. I wouldn't go so far as to say, oh, it's the aesthetic. Oh, it's like ruining the room. Are you ever in there? This is this guy's religion. Like, can he just like pray? 3. About the skinny or eats like a pig comments, I'm totally fine with it. It's just a part of our internal banter, and I'm the only person who gets body shamed, if you want to call it that way. I do allow people to do so. We don't comment on other people's bodies or eating habits, and no one is being body shamed. 4. There was no HR policy that said we can't eat at our desk, and nobody's complained about it until now. Everyone does it, even in other teams like IT. The new hire's issue doesn't seem to be about allergies or food smells. Her main complaint was she's trying to lose weight and doesn't like watching people eat. She's never brought up concerns about computer damage or bugs until she took it to HR. 5, yes, she's currently on a 6-month probation period. This is not her first job, but her second job. Apparently worked on a company for 2 years. The first job was in a different city, and she praises that company a lot. So I'm just gonna summarize what some of these points are saying. She complained about the IT guy who has a loud ringtone. She complained how one of our colleagues was putting on headphones when working, and she dislikes it when she has to tap on his shoulder when she needs to talk to him. Wait, seriously? She complained about a Filipino woman who brought a smelly lunch to work. Oh my God. You have to laugh at this point. This is all within 3 weeks of a new company? Hell no. Also, my colleague told me how he heard how she criticized a few of our Asian colleagues for eating rice with a spoon instead of with a fork. Why does this bother her? She complained about our kitchen garbage not having a lid. She complained about how we should have a coffee machine. Okay, this one would be great. She allegedly reported a female colleague for wearing stilettos to the office, calling it inappropriate work attire. She also apparently reported the kitchen lady for wearing a Pikachu apron, saying it was unprofessional. Oh my God. One of my colleagues genuinely thinks this new hire might be having some mental health issues. Clearly, people are commenting from different parts of the world. Some come from various cultural backgrounds. It's interesting to see how some things are totally normal in one place, but not okay in another. For instance, we've been eating at our desks for years, but apparently, according to some of you, that's a no-no in some workplaces. Well, sadly, it's not okay for us anymore. What's annoying, it just seems like she just has a problem with something that everyone does, and she wants everything to be catered to her. She's not considering what other people in the office want and only going off of what she wants. Okay, on to the next update. So on Monday morning, a few of my colleagues and I had a discussion regarding this new hire behavior, and we decided to talk to our line manager first before HR. Our manager couldn't come to work that day, legit reason. The new hire also didn't come to work, she called in sick. We then changed our plan and decided to go to HR right away. One of the IT guys joined us, as our new hire had harassed him with a lot of unnecessary IT questions and demanded him to make a lot of changes in our IT system. So we offered him to come and join us to report her to HR. He suggested that rather than complaining about how she's annoyed everyone with her complaints, we should pretend to be concerned about her struggle to adjust to our environment and get HR to talk to her because we want her to have a good experience working with us. Ooh, yes. It's like, I'm a team player and I really just genuinely feel like she's not comfortable here. And we just have concerns because we would love it if she was comfortable here. So a few of us then had a meeting with HR, and guess what? HR people were also annoyed by her. They didn't say it directly, but subtly mentioned that she had been lodging a lot of unnecessary complaints. What is with the micromanaging? Like, she's not even a manager. We also suggested she might need to see a psychologist, so she might be having some sort of internal personal crisis that led her to make all these complaints. The IT guy asked if she showed any signs of these behavior when HR interviewed her, and she said she asked a few detailed questions about the work culture here and also complained about some stuff, parking, etc. But they didn't really think much at the time, and she had glowing reviews from her references, probably because they wanted to get rid of her. The HR team said they will discuss this matter and HR will have a one-on meeting with her next time she shows up. But that never happened. She sent in her resignation letter the following day, along with a very long list of complaints and things she wanted us to change. The most ridiculous thing is she actually sent the email to the big boss, complaining about our workplace to be unsafe, unhygienic, non-inclusive, misogynist, backwards, and radiating bad vibes. If anyone is radiating bad vibes, it's her. Cause what do you mean you're going to an office and the minute you get there, you start complaining? Like, settle in a little bit. The HR lady who told us found it strange she didn't use the word toxic. One thing the HR found amusing was she mentioned how our workplace should provide a lot of free stuff, such as bottled beverages, fruit snacks, espresso machine, dining vouchers, feminine hygiene products, petrol, etc. In conclusion, good riddance. Oh my goodness. Well, it sounds like she was a little spoiled by her last workplace. I mean, I agree, all those things would be nice. Yeah, good riddance. Cause like, what the actual of all things, like, just while she was complaining, she could have been doing her job. Was she doing all this complaining on company time? Get out of here. So, are you the a-hole for telling your work colleague that she has no right to control our office habits? No. And I hope you enjoy your office cake. Can I have a piece? Subscribe!